Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. A movie that proves mankind can make the same mistake 5 times and still not learn a lesson.
These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. Welcome to Jurassic World.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to our first ever movie review. I'm Mike, that's Jake, that's Josh, and that's Sean. Today we are reviewing Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, directed by J.A. Bayona. Let's get straight to it. Alright guys, so this movie was an absolute mess. I think it's time for this series to go extinct.
From the opening scene for me, it had me in its grips. I barely had time to breathe. It doesn't topple the original, but it easily slides into second place by putting its own stamp on the franchise, and I'm excited to see where number 6 takes us.
Guys, I went into this movie with really low expectations based on the past 3 installments, and to be fair, my expectations were not met. They were a lot lower.
Guys, to me, this movie was great. Action-packed from start to finish, great cinematics, great visually. I can't wait for the next movie.
Alright guys, so we do have Chris Pratt reprising his role as Owen, the raptor communicator and the hero of our previous movie, Jurassic World. So, way to make Chris Pratt pretty boring in this, guys. Very underwhelming character, very forgettable. This is definitely not the Chris Pratt of Guardians of the Galaxy or Parks and Recreation.
All right. I kind of agree with Dowie. Chris Pratt, to me, seems exhausted in this, like he's been in the other 5 films, or the other 4. That kind of takes a toll on his performance. But in all, I still think that he's got that natural Chris Pratt charisma and that charm, and I still enjoyed his performance.
Then we have Bryce Dallas Howard also reprising her role as Claire, the no-nonsense dinosaur lover. She's okay in this movie, I want to say, but again, pretty underwhelming. They try and make her into an action heroine, but it doesn't really work. She's not believable in any of these action scenes, and it comes across as kind of laughable sometimes.
I agree with Mike. She's okay in this movie. I think she's better than what she was in Jurassic World. That being said, I still think her character is very plastic and one-dimensional.
Then have Rafe Spell as Eli Mills, the millionaire successor to the Jurassic World Enterprise. So this guy is so over the top and just so unnecessarily over the top that it's just crazy. He is pretty much Bond villain level in this movie, and some of the things he does in this movie, you'll see some of the evil things he does. Man, I was pretty much laughing in the cinema thinking, well, what am I watching, a James Bond movie?
Yeah, Mike, I definitely agree with you on that one. I think the writing for this character was crappy. I would pick someone else. However, I do think he did a good job for the role that he was given.
All right, we had Justice Smith taking on the role of Franklin, the kind of mild-mannered IT specialist that came as the attempted comic relief. For me, Franklin was a sense of comic relief. I had a few funny moments for me that I really did enjoy, and if the viewer is not too jaded to this all-too-common character, I think they'll enjoy the humor as well.
I like the point that Jake made where he said attempted comic relief, because that's all that it is. I feel like the character is very unnecessary, especially when you have Chris Pratt in the movie. Guys, so next we have Danielle Pinita as Zia. She's a no-nonsense dino veterinarian who works for Claire. For me, I just think that she was totally forgettable in this role.
Yeah, Josh, I kind of agree with you. I don't think her character was relevant, but I do appreciate the overwhelming care that she gave to the dinosaurs.
So, my gosh, guys, the plot in this movie is an absolute mess. You have 3 different movies that they force into you. The first part of the movie is all about the dinosaur rights and it's an animal rights type thing, and they just throw it in your face, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Then they throw you onto the island, the volcano's exploding, it's all action set pieces, dinosaurs are running around, they're trying to get the dinosaurs off the island, It's my favorite part of the movie, but it's so jarring, that transition. And then the third of the movie, the last third, it's a James Bond movie, complete with evil millionaire, evil scientists, underground laboratory, henchmen that Chris Pratt has to fight off, and leaders from different countries coming together to illegally buy the dinosaurs, just like they would illegally buy nuclear weapons in James Bond. It is absolutely ridiculous. The plot throws you around, and I think I had whiplash by the end of it.
Coming from your point, that one of the big things for me is that the movie lacks settings. For me, the movie had 2 hours, had two settings. It had the island and it had a house. And although both the things, the island and the house, had two different aspects to it, you can't lend yourself 2 hours with two settings. It's not going to work. So for me, the plot fell short a lot also because you only have two locations to write a plot for. And if you want things to advance and progress, you're really cutting down your options. So for me, the film had a lot of beautiful cinematography, and these locations are beautiful, like the Indoraptor howling at the moon with the moon behind it, the Brachiosaurus being shrouded in smoke as it's running off the island. These are beautiful moments, but you only have two locations to create these moments.
For me, guys, the plot is just ridiculous. I don't really know where they're going with these movies anymore. If you look from the first Jurassic Park, what it was, until now, it's really just changed into a cartoon, and I don't really like it, no.
I completely agree. This series has completely lost its identity. I don't know. If there wasn't dinosaurs, I wouldn't even know what I'm watching anymore.
I got to say that I'm kind of against that. Although I acknowledge that this plot was a mess in general, I like that they're not just rebooting and remaking the original three. I don't want to see 6 movies about the same park. I want it to progress. I want it to advance. So yeah, I'm excited for where they're taking this series in the next movie especially.
I kind of have some of the similar points, but I also disagree with a lot of what the other three guys said. I think the intro from the T-Rex and Mosasaurus to all the way to the end, it's action-packed. I think the plot is okay, even though it is only in 2 main destinations. I don't agree with what Mike said in terms of the whole Bond feel. I think they went in a whole new direction, which I really liked.
Yeah, so they did go in a whole new direction. They went in the direction of James Bond movies.
I think the new direction is kind of like what a lot of people say is the Raptors are becoming a lot smarter, and from 1 to 5 they've really evolved, and you've seen that evolution, every movie kind of stepping up. And I think they're at the point now where really anything is possible. It could be all-out weaponized dinosaur war in the next movie.
I do need to give a positive here. The CGI and special effects in this movie, for the most part, are pretty fantastic. The T-Rex looks fantastic in this movie. Sometimes the CGI isn't great if it holds on a dinosaur for too long. You can kind of start to see the imperfections in the CGI. It looks a little ugly. The best looking scene in this whole movie is the scene where the sphere falls into the ocean and the volcano is erupting and it's falling into the ocean around them. Just looks absolutely beautiful. It's a stunning scene. Had me just eyes fixed on it. It was wonderful. I do need to say real quick though, practical effects are still better than CGI. Nothing will ever beat the original T-Rex from the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The CGI was mind-blowing. Especially the opening scene for me, the T-Rex in the forest behind the guy, and then the flashes of like light on it. That looked just real. It looked real. We've gone to the point where CGI looks real. But on your comment, how can they do these 1993 practical effects looking so amazing? And it feels like filmmakers just forget how amazing the practical effects can be, especially with the technology these days. It should be even better.
I'm going to agree with practical effects is always better because it just gives it more of a real feel. Like, I'm going to go off what Mike said, and if it stays on a dinosaur too long, you can kind of tell. But with practical effects, like in the first one, I think it just looks amazing throughout the whole movie.
So the reason why they don't have practical effects anymore is because the studios are cheap. They want to do the cheap way, which is CGI. They don't care. This is a way to make more money. But at least now, in our day and age, the CGI looks passable enough that it's okay.
Speaking of CGI, the dinosaurs in this movie, I got one thing to say is I cared about the dinosaurs more than the characters. You've got the Bracky dying with the smoke coming around it. That was an actual sad moment. You had the Stego getting its tooth pulled out when I guess it was like his trophies or something. You had the Triceratops and its child. You had them all getting gassed to death. You had Blue dying and then fighting nearly dying and then fighting the Indoraptor, and you don't know what happened to him. There's all these moments kind of making you care and making you realize these are actual real animals. And for me, the biggest connection was to the dinosaurs and not to the actors.
I couldn't agree more. I definitely cared more about the dinosaurs in this movie, especially when they were on the island. I felt like they were actually real animals there getting hurt.
The fact that you don't care about the characters much definitely intensifies your care for the dinosaurs. So I think that's definitely a powerful thing as well.
So guys, let's stop for a second and talk about the T-Rex. Just before they fall off into the cliff, the T-Rex does something amazing. It saves the day again. Chris Pratt is just about to be eaten by another carnivore, and the T-Rex comes out of nowhere with lava all around it and rocks flying everywhere just to save Chris Pratt. They really are the good guys in these movies.
So I noticed that as well, actually. So if you watch all these movies, you'll see the T-Rex usually saves the day, or at least tries and fight against whatever the danger is to the humans, intentional or not. It's definitely a trope that this series has taken on, and I kind of enjoy it. I like the T-Rex as a hero.
I think the first movie framed the T-Rex as such. It was the villain of the first movie, even though at the end it kind of saves them. But then, throughout the rest of the movies, it really has been the hero. And like Mike said, I don't really have a problem with that. I think it's awesome. Yeah, the biggest threat is the biggest savior. It's kind of like Godzilla.
I need everyone to take a deep breath. Going off something that Jake said that nearly made me cry and leave the cinema, I don't think I've ever cared about a fictional character like this, ever. Deep breath, Sean. When the poor Brachiosaurus was just standing there alone, with the fire coming at him, while he just stared at the humans with his big roar, and the fire coming. Hang on, all those tears, they're coming. And then the fire takes him over, and you can see the shadow through the flames. Oh, my heart's just pounding thinking about it. That is all.
Yeah, so I didn't find that scene that sad. Thought it was kind of forced. My wife thought it was sad, though. She saw the movie with me. She gave the movie a 0 out of 10 because of that scene.
Oh, it's a tearjerker.
I got to chime in with Sean and Mike's wife there. It was tugging on my heartstrings as I watched that. It was like, why didn't you take me as well? It was sad. It was sad.
It definitely was the saddest moment of the movie, but that's not saying much.
Okay, everyone just forget about what Josh just said because it was a lot.
So just like the plot of this movie, the tone of the movie is all over the place. Absolute mess. It doesn't know if it wants to be funny. It tries that with Chris Pratt's character Owen, where he just turns out dull. You've got Franklin, the computer hacker, who's meant to be the comedy relief, but man, does he fall flat. He falls so flat in this. And then it doesn't know if it wants to be an action. It's got so much over-the-top action. The Jeep jump off the pier into the boat when they're escaping the island, Claire and Owen. I thought I was watching Die Hard for a second. Just ridiculous. You have Chris Pratt at the end fighting like 20 henchmen, thinks he's James Bond or something. And then you have the scene where he jumps through the T-Rex's mouth to escape like the little cargo hold. And I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous. It then tries to be sad and be emotional, falls flat. And then at the end, they have the audacity to try and make it horror-filled. And it's too little, too late.
I mean, I do agree. The tone is all over the place. There's one thing I think Mike missed, and that was for the second time in the Jurassic World series, there's a random kiss with zero chemistry and zero explanation. I did have a big problem with the kiss.
Yeah, I actually agree with some of those points Mike made, especially with that Jeep jump. If you look closely at that scene, the Jeep actually gets air while it drives off a flat surface, which is weird. Like it actually goes up, which doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of the tone of the movies, one Jurassic Park movie I think nailed the tone consistently was The Lost World. And although it's not a lot of people's favourite, it does at least have a consistent tone. And I think that's because a lot of the film is at night. And I want to kind of compare that to the number 2 of this trilogy, Fallen Kingdom, which after the island, I think quite literally the rest of the movie is at night. And that's actually one thing that I loved about The Lost World and that I loved about Fallen Kingdom. I think the true horror of dinosaurs really comes out at the nighttime.
Like The Lost World, how it stuck with that throughout the whole movie. I think Fallen Kingdom would have been a better movie if it stuck with one tone the whole movie. If it stuck with horror, if it stuck with comedy, if it stuck with action. I don't like how they all mix together. The new dinosaur, the new breed of raptor. It's supposed to be the perfect hunting machine. They're breeding it so the army can use it as a weapon. But when you watch the movie, what is it really? It can't even hunt a girl, can't even kill a normal raptor. All the main characters get away from it way too easy, and it's meant to be this perfect hunting machine.
Yeah, the Indoraptor is meant to be the perfect killing weapon, but they do display its actual tactical abilities where it follows the red tactical dot, and then it has the sound wave that triggers it to attack whatever the red dot's pointing at. So I think in terms of they've bred it to work alongside the army. So I think in terms of hunting by itself, I mean, it doesn't even have instinct. It doesn't have history. It's a new dinosaur. So maybe without those tactics, it doesn't really know what to do.
How cool is that Indoraptor scene when he's in the cage and he fakes out that guard dude, jumps up and rips off his arm? The only problem I have is there's no blood. And in real life, there'd definitely be blood.
Yes, I'm down with the intelligence of the raptors. Some people, they don't like how smart the raptor's getting. I'm down with it. I think it's freaking awesome in Jurassic World how it tricks him by scratching on the cage to bring him in. And I think it's freaking cool how it tricks him to think it's sleeping. I mean, it is getting crazy, but I think it's cool. And yes, there would be blood in real life. That's a given.
Stupidity. Stupidity is what leads this movie. The plot shows stupidity. They've had 4 examples of why they should not try and control these dinosaurs, but they try and do it again for a 5th time. Stupidity comes in the form of the writing and of the characters, and also Hollywood. How stupid do they think we are? They think they can throw just action scenes at us with no real plot, no real substance. Man, just what a mess.
Guys. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, the writers, when are they going to make a likable character? The dinosaurs, which are meant to be the bad guys, the carnivores, are the most likable characters in the whole series.
I definitely agree with Josh on this one. Probably one of the only things I'll agree with him is that I definitely fell for the dinosaurs rather than any of the characters.
Yeah, so Jurassic Park and Jurassic World writers definitely don't have a good track record with their characters at all. I completely agree. Cannot really write characters that stand out or have a lot of weight to them.
Yeah, look, as much as I enjoyed Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, like I kind of made in my point before, I connected the most with the dinosaurs. And unfortunately, I think the biggest downfall of maybe the whole series is that the characters are shallow. There's no depth, you don't care about them, and they're not even likable.
Talking about poor characters, where did Lockwood come from? He's talked about in the movie about being partners with Hammond, except this is the only time we're hearing about him. He wasn't mentioned in any of the other movies.
So James Cromwell is a fantastic actor, but his character in this is just so unnecessary. He could have been written out of the movie completely. Like Sean said, it's a character that comes out of nowhere. It's explained that he's John Hammond's partner, but we've never heard that before. I wanted them to do a lot more with an actor like James Cromwell. Very disappointing.
Yes, exactly. I think one of the things that plagues this movie, maybe the main thing that plagues this movie, I mean, based on the writing, is these unexplained things. And it's an unexplained character, where, why, how, unexplained scenes, the kiss, unexplained motives, why are they making these choices? Nothing is written well in this movie. So I think we can boil that down to the lazy writing, unfortunately.
All right, guys, so now it's time for our overall ratings for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So to me, this movie had a tone and a plot that was all over the place. It had decent CGI, decent special effects, some parts were beautiful, had some great looking action sequences, but so much stupidity plagues this movie. Stupidity in characters, stupidity in story, and stupidity in how they just treat the audience. They think we'll take anything and just accept it with no substance whatsoever. But a good thing I can say, I got some souvenirs. See, it's got a T-Rex on it and everything. So in saying that, my overall score for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a very disappointing 5.3 out of 10. It is an average movie.
All right, well, although once again, this movie series fails to make us care about the characters that are meant to be, you know, the center of the plot, the center of the motive, the center of the motion you're going to feel from the movie. Once again, I was caring about the dinosaurs, and it is a dinosaur movie. So for me, if I'm caring about the dinosaurs, if they got good CGI, if there's great action scenes, if there's little horror comedy elements, I'm going to enjoy it. It is a Hollywood blockbuster popcorn flick. That's what it is, and for that, I enjoyed it. I'm going to go with a lot higher than Dowie. It's my second favorite Jurassic Park franchise movie. I'm going to go with a 7.6 out of 10.
To piggyback off these guys, I really enjoyed the cool effects and the fight scenes, but I just felt like this is one of the most unnecessary movies I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It felt like a 2-hour-long build-up for the third movie in this franchise. With that being said, I'm going to go low like Mike. Not as low. I'm going to give it a 5.8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I thought the movie was great. The visuals were great. The CGI was great. Obviously, I didn't care about any of the characters. I only cared about the dinosaurs. There was a lot of flaws, but my likes outdo the things I didn't like. So I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 because I thought it was great.
So after hours of intense math, we have averaged our 4 scores together to get our official FourSquared rating, which is a 6.5 out of 10. It is a good film, a flawed but fun ride. So at the end of every video, we're going to give our MVP for the movie. So for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, our MVP is, because it's more active than any of the actors in this movie, the volcano.
Woo! Yay. Alright guys, that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed our review on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and ding 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 ding. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're updated with all our newest content.
Don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section below saying who you agree with the most and if you like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom or not.
Follow the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook. Check out our website for exclusive content. All the links are in the description below.
So we will see you on Tuesday for our brand new episode of a Top 5 Countdown. We'll see you then.
Dance!
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Where's Sean?